So our next speaker is the father of 6, all boys, except for 4 girls. He's also the host of the Think Bigger Real Estate podcast, top 1% in the nation. So this is if you haven't heard the Think Bigger Real Estate podcast, check it out. He's a best-selling author, wrote the book, The Upstream Model, and he is currently the CEO of Pro Insight. Basically, he's an all-around bad boy. So help me welcome to the stage, Mr. Justin Stoddart, everybody. Give him a hand.
Let's go! Check, check, check. You guys hear me all right? Boy, I've been so inspired by who's already been on this stage. Phil Stringer, your authenticity, buddy. Just sharing with us where you've been. Did that not inspire you all? Sometimes we think that to be on stage, we got to just share the highlight reel. And I'll tell you what, one of the challenges that we find is that we sit here and watch everyone's highlight reel and we think that that's all they have. We don't realize that behind the scenes, they're going through some challenges, right? I would just, before I get started, I just want to point this out, that the greatest untapped natural resource in the world, it's not oil, it's not gold, it's not diamonds, it's human potential. That inside of every single one of you here in this audience, I don't think you know how much potential is inside of you. And so I would just encourage you, while we spend a few minutes here together today, to just put aside all of the garbage that might be keeping you back from that, all of the limiting thinking, all the background that maybe hasn't worked out yet, and just come with me on a journey. Come with me, and I promise that as you do, we're going to help you to see what's possible for you. I'm going to share with you some strategies, some models, some tactics that are working for some of the biggest players in this room. And if you set aside that negative thinking and believe in yourself for just a minute and enough to do the activities, you'll start to see the same results that they've had. Let's get started here. All right, so the topic of today is elevating your influence to attract icons, team leaders, and brokerage owners. By a show of hands, is that interesting to anybody? Would you like to attract these kinds of people? Of course, right? That's the lifeblood, right? That's the jackpot. This concept of influence here, sometimes we sit back and we say, I've already expended all the influence that I have to go get these people, and I feel a little bit stuck. Anybody in being vulnerable, can you raise your hand and say, like, yeah, I feel a little bit stuck maybe. Like my influence, I've done all that I can, and I feel a little bit stuck. Okay, well, today, my promise to you is this, is that I'm going to teach you how to attract more icons without working more hours. I'm going to teach you to identify team leaders who are ready to move to EXP before they even know they're ready. And last, have brokerage owners eager to join you and grow with you. Just put your hand up if any one of those is of interest to you. Everybody. Should be everybody. Right? If not, you're in the wrong room. All right. Well, let's dive in. This nugget, I want you this to sink in, is that if you want someone's business, you need to become a part of their business. Okay? This is no longer just a spectator sport of like, hey, come over here and join me. Become a part of their business. And if you want someone in your network, become a part of building their network. Some of the most impactful stories in this room are people who were brought into a network that they would have never been able to create on their own. P.S. None of us create networks on our own. Okay? So as some background, I'm the CEO of a company called Pro Insight. And let me just share from a contextual standpoint why that matters. Pro Insight is a national network of experts from 20 different industries that we're training to refer real estate agents. So in other words, in every community, in every county of the country, we're identifying one or a couple agents and the professionals that all refer them. And then we're teaching them to work by professional referral. Okay? Here's why this matters to you, is that real estate agents for years have relied upon their warm market, sphere, clients, right? And their influence, which I think most of us would agree that our ambitions oftentimes are much bigger than our spheres can get us to, right? what happens when you begin to think in this way is you start to realize that there are professionals in the marketplace who have influence over clients. Think financial advisors, CPAs, lenders, property managers. They already have these relationships. We teach real estate agents how to add value to those professional partners so that those professional partners refer them clients at the moment that they're needed. Now, why does that matter? Because those principles we're now going to take and apply to agent attraction. Okay, those very same principles apply, and I'll prove it to you here in just a minute. So, in case you thought Brent wasn't telling the truth, I really did marry up. In every sense of the word, she's actually taller than me. And she gave me these 6 beautiful children. Here's why I want to emphasize this. I was a luxury home builder for about a decade. And I was working very hard to build a pipeline of $1 million construction clients. And I found myself working all day managing these sites. And then I was, oh shoot, I got to fill the pipeline. So I'm working into the wee hours trying to do all of the stuff that's required in a growing business. And I realized that business would give me the ability to put food on the table, okay? And I think we've all realized we're in this room because we believe that real estate has the ability to put food on the table. But I didn't want to stop there. I wanted to be at that table when the food was served. Can anybody relate to that? It's like, yeah, my family's taken care of, but haven't seen them in a while. Maybe that resonates with somebody here. It's like, dang it. I'm missing the best years, whether it be kids, whether it be grandkids, whether it be parents, because I'm out freaking chasing the next deal all the time. When does it stop? Okay, these principles give you the ability to not just have the ability to put food on the table, but to be at the table when it's served. The book that I authored is called The Upstream Model. The concept is this. Most professionals hang out down here. These are the tried and true practices, right? This is where everything that everybody does, all the common best practices are done and implemented. By rule, by definition, you are common. If you're doing, what's always been working, you are common. And we all know that you can get results by being common if you do it hard enough, if you do it long enough. Okay? What I realized as a high-end home builder is that I didn't want to stay down there because I wanted to be at the table at the same time my family was there. And I realized that there was somebody who was upstream from me, an architectural designer. That architectural designer had all of the clients that I as a home builder wanted. So rather than having to market to the whole world, I could build one relationship with one professional who opened the door to ongoing clients that needed me at that very moment. Okay? So what happened is that I became a new me. I moved up the shoreline. And now all of a sudden, this professional is giving me the clients before my competition knew that they existed. Okay? I began to work by professional referral. Not just by referral, but by professional referral. There is a difference. Maybe some of you know this gentleman. He's been a mentor of mine, Alex Hormozy. He said, their pain is your pitch. So if now we're taking, well, how do I get these professionals, right, like I did with architectural designers, how do I get them to refer me business as a builder? It's not, you don't just go and solicit their business. You don't just walk into an architect's office and ask for their business. You as a real estate agent, don't just walk up to anybody and say, do you want to join EXP? Right? If that worked, everybody would have as big a businesses as they wanted. Okay? There needs to be a little more strategy. And again, as I've examined the best businesses in this room, these principles apply. You need to get to know their career path. If you understand somebody's career path, you can identify what are the pain points they're going through now. And then I'll help you with the rest of the strategy, okay? So if you look at an icon, they get their real estate license. They get their first job. Maybe you remember back. If you remember that time when you got your license, you're pretty excited, I'm going to be rich in no time, right? Then I got my first position in a real estate company, started selling some homes. This is crazy. It's working, right? I remember that when I was standing outside these big, beautiful homes I was building. I was like, holy cow, I'm going to be rich in no time, right? And you're on the up and up. But there comes a point where you feel like you're on a treadmill and you don't know how to get off. Have you ever felt like that? Put your hand up if you're like, I felt that way. And I don't know how to slow down. My family needs this money. We need this money. I can't stop. Okay? That situation, right? The average icon level agent that are, by the way, not yet exposed, not yet knowing what you know about EXP. They're on a fast-paced treadmill and they don't know how to slow down. And yet we all know, even the Thrive program, even like these programs that are being discussed, even just the stock program, right? For doing what they're going to do anywhere else. Don Yoakum, my business partner and dear friend, mentor, he said, any icon level agent that's not brokering their business at EXP is committing financial malpractice on their family. Like, they're going to do this work anyway. Why not get stock in a growing company, right? So understanding the pain, okay? Now, the next step, once we identify the pain, by the way, if you have influence over somebody that is on this treadmill, go talk to them, 100%. But again, you get to a point where it's like, I don't have influence on anybody else. And maybe there's a way to enter into these conversations in an edified manner, okay, where they listen to me. These professionals that I'm listing out here on the screen, these professionals know the icon level agents that are on a treadmill, okay? In fact, as I look down the row here, Don Yoakum's organization, right? There's Christy Hill, who came from a transaction coordinator, right? Who's an amazing icon level agent. Pitt Miller, who's a top lender, referred Don, a great agent, right? We've got real estate coaches. I actually referred Stephanie Peck, who's here in the audience, to Don. She now has 35 agents in her business since October. Came from a real estate coach, okay? Escrow professionals. You think escrow professionals know who the agents on a treadmill are? Yes, they do. Okay, so in other words, there is an upstream partner, someone who already has the influence over this person. You aren't limited to just your influence. You go find people who do have influence. Okay, let's now move to the career path of a team leader. Someone's growing their business. They got little baby agents. They're so excited, right? I'm bringing agents onto my team. I'm growing. I've got now a production team. I'm flying around, but oh shoot, a little bit of pain. Feels like my hair's on fire, right? Anybody felt that way before? Sometimes you'll stay in those leadership positions, and obviously you're constantly recruiting, adding to that, or maybe you even take a leadership role at not you, but like other agents will take a leadership role within a traditional franchise as a team leader. P.S. Know that 18 months is the average duration now of a team leader that's in charge of recruiting over a traditional brokerage. 18 months. You can watch the clock. Okay? Why? Because there used to be a career path. OP, regional, like there's a career path. And now it's not that sexy of an opportunity anymore. Right? In the traditional brokerages, it's not that sexy of an opportunity. And those professionals, they're looking for a pathway. They just don't have one. Okay? And this is the thing. Again, Don Yoakum taught me this. He said, team leaders have the master skill of attracting and retaining talent, and most of them are using it to build wealth for somebody else. Okay? Jackie McKelvin, who again is an incredible agent. She used to be a team leader. She is attracting other team leaders. Somebody already has these relationships. You don't have to start from scratch. You don't have to cold call into them. You can. It does work, but maybe there's a way to do this a little bit faster, guys. And we know, again, the Thrive program that was discussed today and the revenue share incentives. These are opportunities for them to build, like to actually have a path, to use their skills to put themselves in a totally different spot where they're building wealth for themselves, okay? Team leaders. These are people who know team leaders, other team leaders, coaches of team leaders, other industry branch managers, right? Those who run a lending branch probably have relationships with those who lead a real estate team, okay, as an example. Leaders of local associations. Think about some of the associations that are out there. These team leaders are building relationships with other leaders, okay? So let's go brokerage owners. A brokerage owner falls in love with their career. They've got this dream of making the small brokerage into a bigger brokerage. They got plans of retirement. Maybe some of you can relate to that, right? And now all of a sudden we have these lawsuits coming down, and what used to be an asset, brokerage owners have realized this might be a liability. I don't know if I want to be owning a brokerage all by myself anymore. Okay? This isn't so great anymore. How do I get out of this? And yet we know that in this company, EXP, you actually have the ability to build a legacy. What a beautiful demonstration of that today with Rick's story. What a beautiful legacy in so many ways. We have the ability to offer that to other people. All right, I'm going to have you take a snapshot of this because we're running low on time. Other brokerage owners, coaches, consultants, other industry owners. All of these professionals right here have a relationship with brokerage owners. You don't have to start from scratch, okay? So what does this look like? You can enter in as a solicitor vendor. This is where most people mess up. They just simply call in and say, can you introduce me to somebody? They call to get, okay? Whereas instead, I want you to enter in not as a solicitor or a vendor, but as at minimum a connector, potentially even as an advisor, and lastly, even as a director. Let me explain. I'm going to give you 3 questions in 3 areas, and then we're going to wrap up. Okay? To be a connector, it's not, hey, will you introduce me to somebody? It's, who can I introduce you to that would be helpful for you? Right? It's, how can I come with contribution? Find these upstream partners. How can I help you come from contribution? How would you like me to introduce you? Okay? And then once you've given value, then you're looking for not an introduction to a person, but a profile. You're looking for somebody who says, who's the top learning-based professional in this particular brokerage, right? You might be asking a loan officer. You might be asking an escrow officer. Who is the most ambitious person that always sets big goals? You're looking for a profile. Get that introduction, okay? The advisor questions. This is one more step up of influence. When now you're having these conversations of what will you be celebrating 1 year from now? What is your plan to get there? And what obstacles could get in the way? Instead of coming to get, you guys, we're coming to give. We're coming to be a consultant and an advisor in the lives of these partners who can open the door to all the people that we need and want. As a director, meaning highest level of influence, would you be open to us featuring you on our podcast? Doesn't have to be fancy, guys. It could be an Instagram Live, right? Would you join me and others for an exclusive mastermind? Okay? You guys can put these together. Previous speaker just spoke about that. I'd like to have you collaborate with me on hosting an event. Think about doing this with those partners. You're going to get introduced to the people that you want to be in business with. Okay? Collaboration at the highest level elevates your influence, gives you the ability to attract. You're no longer a solicitor pushing something they've heard 100 times. You're now coming from contribution, building their network, which makes them, guess what? Want to be a part of your network. I know I went through a lot of slides today. If I can send you these, just DM me slides and I'm happy to send them to you. So thank you all for the opportunity of being here.